Good morning everyone. In the previous video, I've discussed with the law of demand. So the law of demand states that other things remaining constant, when the price of the commodity increases, the demand for the commodity decreases. And when the price is lower, the demand for it increases. So here we have the four determinants of demand. The four determinants are price of the related goods, income of a consumer, taste and preferences. And the first one, the most important determinant is price. So we have related with demand and price that we discussed in the law of demand. Now, today I'm going to start up with the other concepts. When other determinants changes, what happens to the demand? So we have a concept like normal and inferior goods, substitutes and complementary goods. So today we'll discuss this with the explanatory part. First we will study what is normal and inferior goods. So normal goods are the demand for these goods increases as income increases. Example, most of the daily use goods such as vegetables, fruits, clothes, etc. Let me explain. Normal goods, here previously we have explained demand with price. Now I am not going to take the price, but instead of that I am going to take the other determinant, which is called as income of a consumer. Here the demand and income have a relationship. Here the normal goods states that the demand for these goods increases as income increases. Income increase ಆದರೆ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡು increase ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. For example, when the vegetable prices are lower, we buy less. When the vegetable prices goes up, we buy more. That is, the goods prices, here demand for these goods increases as income increases. For example, fruits. So when the income of the fruits increases, clothes increases, we demand such goods. Here that is what we call it as a normal goods. The next one is inferior goods. Inferior goods means here the demand increases with a fall in income of consumer and vice versa. Vice versa means when the income is higher, the demand will be more. So such goods are called as a inferior goods. Here the demand will increase with a fall in income. For example, here low quality goods. So the low quality goods, certain consumers will be preferred only for the branded goods. They will not compromise with the cheaper prices. When the prices are cheaper, means when the income of that becomes lesser, they will demand more. When the income is more, they will demand more. So such concept is called as a inferior good. Next, but we will discuss about what is normal goods and inferior goods. Firstly, normal goods. Normal goods, these are the goods for which the demand increases with the increase in the income of a consumer. For example, when I have an income of 5,000 rupees, I will spend my money only to get the necessary goods, but I will not buy more comfortable or luxurious goods because I have less income. So my demand for the commodities also will be less. But when I have more income, for example to say I have an income of 50,000 rupees, my demand for the food, clothes, electronic goods will be increased because I have more income. Such goods are called as a normal goods. So for the normal goods, when the income increases, the demand also will be increased. When the income is lesser, the demand is also lesser. Such things are called as a normal good. The next is, there is a positive relationship between income and demand. So in the previous class, the price and demand, in the law of demand I have explained there is an inverse relationship between the price and demand. Here the relationship between the income and demand. So here the third point states that there is a positive relationship between income and demand. Positive relationship means when the income increases, demand also increases. When the income decreases, demand also decreases. What is that positive relationship? If income is high, demand is also high. When the income is low, the demand is also low. So such relationship we call it as a positive relationship. The next one tells that here the demand curve shifts towards right if the income of a consumer increases. Usually the demand curve is sloping downward from left to right. This is the original demand curve. Now for the normal goods, what happens is the demand curve shifts towards rightward. This is shifting rightwards. So from original D to D1 it increases. So here the demand curve shifts towards the right if the income of the consumer increases. Suppose if the income decreases, what will happen to the demand curve? The demand curve will shift towards the leftward, that is leftward downward from original D to D2. This is all about normal goods. The next one is inferior goods. So inferior goods, these are the goods for which the demand decreases with the increase in the income of consumer. So here some consumers will not buy whatever comes in their way. They will be always preferable only to the brands. So these are the goods for which the demand decreases with the increase in the income of a consumer. For example, low quality goods like unbranded goods. Many people will not buy the unbranded products or low quality goods. So such goods are called as inferior goods. Here the relationship between the income and demand will be inverse or opposite. For example, if the income is higher, demand will be lower. When the income is lesser, demand will be greater. That means here you can see the arrow marks have done opposite. If the income is more, demand is less. That means the income and demand have a opposite relationship, that is inverse relationship. The last point says that here the demand curve shifts towards left if the income of a consumer increases. So here what will happen? This is the original demand curve. Here the demand curve shifts towards leftward. Leftward in the sense when the income decreases, the demand also will be decreased. So it is shifting towards the leftward, that is D1. So this is called as inferior goods. The next concept will be substitute goods and complementary goods. So we'll see what is substitute goods and what is complementary goods. Substitute goods these are alternative goods available to satisfy our wants. Alternative goods, instead of one commodity we can go for another commodity. So such goods are called as a substitute goods. We can use alternative. So alternative in the sense here the goods, for example tea and coffee, Coke and Pepsi, such goods are alternative. Instead of one, we can use another in order to satisfy our wants. Such goods are called as a substitute goods. So if the price of a product increases, the demand for its substitute also increases. Here, the price and the demand have the relationship. If the price of a product increases, what will happen for the demand for its substitutes? So substitute means, for example, let me write here tea and coffee. Before, the tea and coffee prices are priced 5 rupees. Now suddenly the coffee price from 5 rupees to it is increased to 10 rupees. So what will happen to its substitute? Tea and coffee are a substitute goods. Before it was sold for 5 rupees. Now suddenly the coffee price have been increased from 5 to 10. When the price increased from 5 to 10, what happened to the tea? Means the demand for tea will be increased because of its substitute goods. Okay, so that is substitute. If the price of a product increases, the demand for a substitute also increases. So such goods are called as a substitute goods. Here the demand curve shifts to the right in case of price rises. So the demand curve will shift towards rightward for a substitute goods. Price and demand move in same direction. So here the price and demand move in a same direction. If the prices are higher, the demand for substitute goods also will be increases. When the price is lesser, the demand for substitute goods also will be decreased. Such concept is called as a substitute goods. The next one is complementary goods. So complementary goods are which are consumed together in order to accomplish a task. So here, if the price of a product increases, the demand for its complementary goods decreases. So here, let me tell you, pen and ink are the example, or petrol and bike are the example for complementary good. I want to reach certain place. I have a bike but no petrol. Can I reach a place? I cannot reach a place. So petrol and bike, both goods are required to reach a particular place. In the same way, I have a pen but I don't have a ink. Can I write? I cannot write. So pen and ink are the two commodities which is complement to each other. So if the price of product increases, the demand for its complementary goods, will be decreased. Okay, such goods are called as a complementary goods. Here the demand curve shifts left in case of price rises. So this is the original demand curve. Here what will happen to the demand curve? Demand curve will shift downward, that is left side, D1, D1. This is the complementary goods. Now price and demand move in opposite direction. So here what will happen? When the price increases, demand decreases. So when the price decreases, demand increases. The price and demand move in a opposite direction. So such concept is called as a complementary goods. So here there are two types of goods. One is normal good and inferior good. The another type of good is substitute goods and complementary goods. So normal goods are those goods, the demand for these goods increases as income increases. Inferior goods, the demand increases with a fall in income of consumer and vice versa. Here the normal good and inferior good have a relationship between income and demand. And Substitute goods and complementary goods. Here, there is a relationship between the price and demand. If the price changes, according to it, substitute goods and complementary goods changes. So this is about substitute goods and complementary goods. Thank you for watching. If you have a doubt, you can contact me